Helldivers and Helldivers. Welcome to my video. Today we are going to do some reviewing, a brief review in this case. We'll keep it a little bit short and simple on the latest WARBOND to give my piece of opinion on it at least. You know, might as well. And to give you a few ideas on armor loadouts that I run, so you can kind of judge it or discuss it in the comments below. Either way is fine. I will play what you like. It's still just a matter of preference and style of gameplay. Now then, as you can see, this is one of my favorite armors, but anyway, segue us into the Servants of Freedom. So, starting off with the double-edged sickle. As of recently, it has gotten a buff, which means it is very good when maximum heat is achieved, making it armor penetration level 4, which means it can fight charges. It's basically the same armor penetration as the heavy machine gun, the HMG. So that means it's pretty potent, albeit though you will have to wear fire resistant armor, be it the heat seeker or one of the, which is the light one, and either one of the medium ones and or the heavy one. So overall, pretty decent armor. I don't use the armor too much. Helmets, they're pretty goated. I mean, you got a King Baldwin meme here. You can insert any time of day. As for the ultimatum, now this thing got a little bit of a tweak in this case. They decided that it would not be compatible with the booster in this case for optimization. So you get, I believe it's either with the booster or also for the siege ready armor. So, oh well. I don't know, people are being a little bit pissed off about it, but personally, I don't get it. It's a big boom. It's only got 2 rounds at max, so it's not exactly going to be any better if you can reload it slightly faster. So, what did you lose? It's a big boom that can also destroy some of the side objectives in this case, and generally speaking, it's a utility. It's not exactly going to be your DPS, it's not going to be necessarily your go-to. It's useful, but not that good. Not that necessary for you. Oh no, the reload speed or ammo economy is going to ruin it. That's the best way they can balance it. Like, oh, you're going to have to slightly more inconvenience to reload it because there's a bunch of ammo boxes anyway on some of the maps anyway. Like Luminance got a bunch of them in their streets. You got a bunch of them laying around on interest points. You're gonna have ammo, my guy. Plus half of you run supply pack anyway. What is the issue? I don't get it. Personally, if you can tell me what the issue is on your end in this case, what you find this issue with these changes, let me know in the comments below. I'd like to see them. Most of them were just, I want to reload it faster. Like, what is that kind of issue? I mean, it's better than a flat out nerf to its damage or anything else it could possibly have. So, not the worst of a balancing measurement. Like, I'd say it's like pretty good. You know, not too bad. Now, G50 Seeker. Now this one, it is pretty nifty, albeit though pretty gimmicky in this case, as someone who spent most of the game throwing his grenade like a baller. So the G50 Seeker, basically, if you don't throw immediately near enemies, it'll just hover next to you on either side, and it's medium penetration in this case, then, so it's not like impact. So keep in mind, you're not gonna be able to fight most of the Illuminates in this case. Well, the big harvesters with the Illuminates, or in this case charges and the like in this case, since the impact are heavy penetration, the impact nades, and most of the normal grenades are also, including the default one, is heavy penetration, so you could technically get a charger with it. Give or take, it is technically true. As for the portable hell bomb, I have nothing to say. This is great. This is phenomenal. I love it. Because on the one hand, it is utility, second of all, first of all, it's utility, second of all, it gives you a lot of options. Because for a long time, I think a lot of us wanted a hell bomb to be called in whenever we wanted, not just on main objectives, because we wanted to use it whenever, because we saw a big boom, we might as well set it up somewhere and use it that way, just like we do on the randomly spawned hell bombs on the map. And we wanted to use it for this, and this is basically for the nation. The cooldown, not the worst. 300 seconds. I mean, if you're gonna use it sparingly and with a clever placement, it's not going to be too bad. As for in this case, how you activate it on PC, on PC you pretty much activate the same way as the supply pack in this case. So just press 5 on mouse keyboard for us PC outcasts. So you know, that's pretty much that in this case. And again, it destroys most objectives, much like a Hellbomb does. On the Illuminates, it will destroy the obelisk or the cognitive thingamajiggy that scrambles your inputs for these stratagems. The big nests now that the bugs have on at least 7 difficulty and above, and I believe they're also on 6, but I can't tell. I don't play 6. I don't know. I know they're definitely on 7 and above. The big Bile Titan spawns. Yep. So now they're coming out out of the woodworks, like they're little lone dudes now. And overall, I'd say it's about A tier. It's A tier definitely. Like, it's not super goated, because I mean the armor is good. It's medium, and I think one bit is light. Let me see. Yeah, this is okay. This is let me see here. Not that. Yeah, so both of these are medium, including the one that came out in the Superstore. I believe they're also both mediums in this case, and so not bad. They're pretty okay. They look pretty cool. Helmets and everything is very baller. Also, there is one other addition that I'm very pleased with, which would be the axe. The axe is a very nice addition, given that you don't have a spear and the you only have the spear and the baton. Axe fits that niche pretty okay. It does the job in this case, and I feel like it does a little bit more damage compared to the other two in this case, minus the stun. I don't mind it in this case. I found it pretty good, pretty effective. So yeah, you can definitely, and not to mention with the recent changes to the ballistic shield, you can now block your melee attacks from all the enemies, including Voteless, including the Overseers, albeit they will hit pretty hard, so they might still knock you down. The Chainsaw Berserkers from the bots. Terminids as well, so that means, though, keep in mind it will break, so that will still occur, but you can now block it. So now you can actually use your shield like a shield, so you can scrap with them like the best of them. So overall, definitely a pretty good Warbond. A tier definitely. It's not a mess. It doesn't have everything that you like. I definitely put it at A tier. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad. It is a bit more. It gives us a lot more than we bargained for. Armor is like meh. It's not bad if you're running in constantly hoping to die. Most of you probably will not be likely enjoying that part. But that is what we are. But overall, it's giving us everything we need, everything we want, everything we like. So yeah, that's pretty much it for here in this case. Now, as for the loadout, now I'll use pictures in this case, edit it in to give you an idea of how the armor looks like in this case. And loadout wise, as for the Terminated loadout, now keep in mind I am a heavy armor player. I prefer the heavy armor. It's simply just what I like. Now, bear in mind, again, when it comes to loadouts, play what you like. Though if you're looking for any sort of pointers, I can definitely list a couple of them in this case when it comes to aiming for certain types of loadouts or certain types of aspects of your loadout to gravitate towards it, depending on faction. As someone who is a Hell Commander, or in this case level 110. So overall, pretty okay, pretty experienced. I've been here since the start. I'm a veteran, boomity boomer of the Helldivers, albeit though I don't always play as much, so not that deep into it. But anyway, so for the Terminated loadout, the main one I use is the Salamander Heavy Armor set. I like fire, what can I say? Plus fire is fairly effective against bugs. Most of the units will actually die a lot faster when you set them on fire, not to mention it will also let you hop out of the way in this case if they're too close to you, not to mention they also will catch you on fire inevitably, so having fire resistant armor helps. Alternatively, any armor works in this case though, realistically speaking, but this is my preferred loadout, so keep in mind this is also what I rock with. As for the primary weapon, it is liberal. So I'll keep a few options here that I think are fairly viable. Liberator by default, pretty okay, pretty decent, does the job. If you don't have WARBOND, it will do you good. The STA-52 assault rifle from the Killzone collaboration, also pretty good, mostly because it just gets more ammo per shot, so it's pretty much just a better Liberator. Essentially, you don't get to worry about it, and you don't need to worry about heavies anyway, because you will have a flamethrower as a support weapon, so you don't need to worry about the necessary issue of dealing with medium penetration. You have a flamethrower. As for the secondaries, now in this case, so primary, you could technically also make sense that a breaker shotgun also could work. Spray and pray, not bad options, always good. Shotgun's always pretty good option regardless. But as for secondary, in this case, secondary will come up with either Bushwhacker, Peacemaker, or Verdict. All are viable, or pretty good backups. Bushwhacker for the stun, and to also keep stalkers at bay, because fuck them, or hunters in this case. Peacemaker, if you don't have any Warbond, Peacemaker is viable, a lot of ammo. I wouldn't say the Redeemer could fill that role, but I don't like the Redeemer personally, so do as you wish. Personally, I wouldn't use it. I don't like the economy on it. As for the throwables, Impact or regular Incendiary or Impact Incendiary also work. Impact, if you can, again, depending on what you have in terms of Warbond. If you don't have the Impact Incendiaries from the Polar Patriots, regular Incendiary just fine. It will do you good. Frag also will do good. Fragmentation grenades are also pretty good. Or just Impact or regular Incendiary, also good. They do more damage, but they are a little bit, you have to cook them to get a proper grenade in, but that's pretty much it. As for stratagem, it is flamethrower support weapon, necessary for obvious reasons. Napalm airstrike, for obvious reasons. Now, in Napalm Barrage or Portable Hell Bomb, depending on your loadout options, you can pick either or, whichever you have available. And Incendiary Mines, because as of recently, Incendiary Mines also got a little bit of buff, so now they have the same cooldown as the of 130 seconds. Pretty fast, pretty good. Simple. You can swap out the Salamander with Heat Seeker, the lighter armor for the Incendiaries, which is also unfortunately in a Warbond. So this fire resistant set is, if you have the Warbond, Freedom's Flames, so keep in mind it is a bit of a dead explosive. Otherwise, you can't really work a flamethrower without burning yourself sufficiently, so bear that in mind. As to the bots. Now, the bots are ruthless. They do not give a damn. They will gun you down, they will explode you, concuss you, you name it. In similar fashion, it is actually the armor that I'm wearing currently in the intro in this case, the one you would see me wear often, at least in some of these videos that I'll make, which is the FS11 Execution Armor, the shiny chrome dome. And it's a heavy armor naturally. Reason why, because the fortified perk, which along with recoil reduction while crouched or prone, it also gives you reduction to blast, so that means you will also survive all those explosions and rockets that they send you. Very effective. As for the primary, I have a couple of options, but all are pretty good. Educator, not too bad. Dominator is still my go-to one. It is the only firearm that so far has withstood a lot of tribulations over the months in this case of the game. Liberate Penetrator is also a good one because it is the earliest available penetration you will get proper, so it's not bad. As for the secondary, you can go for the Loyalist. Verdict, also a pretty good one because the medium penetration would be helpful. Because at bots, medium penetration is everything. Most of the units will contain medium penetration, so you could still work a Peacemaker to it or any other light penetration weapon. Even the dagger is still viable, albeit though you will have to aim for the weak spots like head or abdomen. And another one is the Ultimatum, because the Ultimatum can destroy a fair bit of structures, mortar emplacements, even I believe jammers as well, though that might be corrected. I'm still trying to get confirmation on that one. Need to do some testing just in case, but in the most part it is viable because you will get to blow up a lot of shit very quickly and get a lot of devastators out of your way. As for grenades, Impact Grenade, heavy penetration, very useful, plus impact, so you don't have to worry about cooking it. Thermite for anti-tank of everything and anything. Hulks, tanks, unit, factory striders to the head, that also works. And frag grenades for the general quantity. As for the stratagem, bots will include a very large stratagem option here, so keep that in mind. Support weapons are going to be plentiful you can work with. Now the basic ones you might want to gravitate towards is HMG, heavy machine gun, autocannon. Autocannon you cannot go wrong with. Autocannon you can, I say this roughly, but you can pretty much use the autocannon on any of these fronts, because the autocannon works pretty much well on every single one of them. It closes bug holes, it destroys fabricators, I believe it can also destroy ships. I haven't tested it out, but essentially it's pretty effective against everything you shoot it at, minus the tanks and the hulks on the bot front, and minus the bile titans, albeit you might have to dump a whole backpack into them, but still it will tackle every single other unit other than the bile titan effectively. Other one is the recoilless, my beloved. It will never fail you. It will kill everything it hits properly. So that one's always a good fallback on in case you don't have anything better. Airstrike or strafing run. Personally, I wouldn't put 2 eagle strikes into the same slot, into the same loadout, because they share the reload timer in this case. So keep that in mind in case you don't know. If you have 2 eagle airstrikes, eagle call-ins stratagems, they will all share the same reload in this case. So that means if you empty, let's say you have an eagle airstrike and strafing run, the airstrike won't reload automatically. You'll have to either manually reload both of them, or run out of both of them so they can all reload together. So it's best to keep one of them if you can, but keep that in mind. Now, as for another thing you should bring is a 500 kilogram or 120 and 380. Personally, the reason why I say all these 3 fall into the single slot you could pick is because they can destroy objectives like the detector tower. I believe they could technically take out a jammer, although I never bother with it in this case since it jams you, so you have to go there anyway. But essentially, they're pretty good at destroying places, outposts, fortifications, everything. So, including on the limited side, they also do pretty good. But keep that in mind, you will have to use a little bit of good throwing. So I hope you practice your throws because you're gonna need them. And as for the 4th slot, you can go for autocannon sentry, machine gun, or minigun sentry. All are pretty viable. Machine gun sentry is a good start because it has a pretty low cooldown, so you can use it on the go. You need because it will still do medium penetration. So both the minigun sentry and the machine gun sentry are nearly identical, albeit though the minigun Gatling sentry, as it is, will be a little more long cooldown, so use it sparingly. But machine gun sentry will still do just good, so you can still pick that if you need a sentry. Perfectly viable, though autocannon is the go-to on the bot front because of the heavy firepower, although it's very slow to turn around, so make sure you place it right where you need it, when you need it, otherwise it might get overwhelmed very quickly. And now on the squids loadout, I'm gonna mention that. Medium armor is preferred. This is the only exception I would recommend for most people to play with the medium armor. Plus, I'm going to mention a new loadout that I found out recently, since there were changes to the gas stratagems in this case. Now, I'm going to mention a couple of alternatives for this, with a few nuances, keep in mind you, so you can still work with what you already know. But the loadout here that I have here is basically just chemical warfare, WARBOND, the loadout, and it involves the field chemist loadout armor in this case, which comes through the superstore. You can pick any of the other ones you have from the WARBOND, that either is fine, but aesthetically I like the chemical field chemist armor set. It's a medium one, so medium armor is preferred on the Illuminates because you will need to move a lot. The Voteless are many and belligerent, so they will try to overwhelm you if you're slow. If you're playing heavy in Illuminates, keep in mind you have to think a little bit ahead and watch yourself so you don't get overwhelmed. So primary, any SMG will suffice. It will do you good. You can always pick assault rifles or shotguns, but SMG is not too bad. Anything with a higher fire rate will do you good on the Illuminates because that will kill them very quickly, especially the Overseers and the Ascended Ascended, I guess, Overseers, what they're called. Basically the jetpack dudes. All are viable. And secondary, Verdict or Loyalist will work just fine. They're both viable, Verdict because of medium penetration immediately and high damage, and Loyalist because you get to use the splash, charge up attack against the Voteless. All pretty viable, all pretty good. So those are my recommended ones. You can still work with anything else really, but it's pretty much what's most effective. As for stratagems, the gas thrower in this case stratagem, the gun, the sprayer in this case, What the fuck it's called? I forgot. That one is pretty good. It is, though keep in mind you will have to spray them a lot, so it is pretty effective in this case, especially against the voteless. Against the watchers, it will do absolutely nothing. The observers, absolutely nothing. I've tried. As for everything else, it will confuse the enemies, it will make them a little bit dazed, so they won't be attacking you as much immediately, so you buy a little bit of crowd control. Guard dog, backpack, also a very good recommendation, because it will also gun down as much as the voteless, as much as also the observers, or also the overseers pretty well, though it will guzzle up ammo a lot, so be ready to get those resupply buttons or find ammo on the field fast. You'll need it. Now as for the third slot, you can either go for in this case any of the sentries like Gatling or machine gun, or airstrike or strafing run. All of them are viable. And as for the fourth slot, either bombardment of any kind or precision strike, just so you can take out those encampments. Pretty much you can use the strafing run as well. Grenade wise, I forgot to mention, I'd say impact grenades are the best, though you can still use the default ones just fine. It just impact are more effective immediately, you know, instant gratification. But avoid the thermites. This one thing you need to know, thermites are not as effective on the Illuminate front as they are on every other front in this case. You can get away with using them on Bile Titans, on Chargers, on bots, whatever else, but on the Illuminates, no. The shields will be brought up by the time the whole thing detonates, making it absolutely useless. So no point in using that. Alternatively, armor-wise, you can still use the siege-ready armor with the recoilless or autocannon, so you can reload them faster, because that's now become a part of its whole shtick. And again, any armor still works just fine, but these are my recommended ones if you can get them. Again, even the default armor you get is still pretty viable. It's pretty much just more of a pizzazz and efficiency at this point. But I could also make a bit of a tier list in this case about which WARBOND is sort of the best of the best, but I'm pretty sure there's quite a lot of them, though I can definitely give you a piece of my mind if you wish. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you have any more questions, any more issues you run into while fighting enemies, so I can also probably make another video about divulging tactics against our different foes of democracy, so we can then deal with them a lot more efficiently. After all, we must be efficient, we must be swift, for enemies of democracy are numerous and belligerent. There's many of them, and there's not enough of us. Anyway, that's a bit of a long-winded video in this case. Hope you all have a happy Wednesday in this case, or happy whatever day this uploads on. Hope you have a happy diving, and hope you have a democratic good day.